Tea was supposed to be a smooth, typical promo stop, another polished celebrity segment. Mark Wahlberg, casual yet commanding in a crisp black tee and dark denim, sat confidently under the studio lights of Piers Morgan Uncensored. He was there to talk about Dead Reckoning, Boston Heat, his upcoming film that had critics already buzzing. The set was slick, the energy was calm, and the chemistry between the two men initially felt promising. Piers, ever the provocateur, began with the usual charm. He complimented Wahlberg's reinvention, from street-tough rapper to Hollywood A-lister to faith-led entrepreneur. Mark responded warmly, cracking jokes about his grueling 4 a.m. workouts and poking fun at Piers's accent. The crowd laughed. The mood was light. For a moment, it seemed like the interview would remain just that, light. But Piers Morgan wasn't known for letting his guests coast through the tough stuff. Somewhere between a question about Wahlberg's tequila brand and his role as a father of 4, the tone shifted. Piers leaned in slightly, tapping his cue card like a silent warning shot. "So, Mark," he began, his voice lowering just enough to signal danger, "you've crafted this image, devoted Catholic, early riser, family man. Admirable, sure, but let's talk about something you rarely do, your violent past. Assault charges, prison, the pardon you sought. Do you really think someone like you deserves to be called a role model?" The room fell silent. Wahlberg's smile faded instantly, replaced by the cold, steady stare of someone who'd just had enough. He adjusted in his chair but didn't blink. "I've never run from my past, Piers," he said evenly, "and I've talked about it 100 times. I've apologized. I've done the work, years of work, to make things right. I mentor kids, I build communities, I show up. What more do you want?" Piers wasn't letting up, but isn't it fair to say that your fame gave you a second chance most people wouldn't get? And the pardon, wasn't that about ego more than redemption? Mark's jaw clenched. "I didn't come here to be interrogated about mistakes I made as a teenager," he snapped. "This isn't journalism, this is a setup." Piers raised a brow, unfazed. "It's a fair question, Mark. The public has a right to know if their heroes are genuine. Or just good at pretending." That was it. Wahlberg sat back, scoffing, visibly fuming. The tension was volcanic. A stagehand off-camera looked to the producer in a panic. "You want views, Piers. You bait people for viral clips. That's your brand," Wahlberg growled. "But you're not going to twist my life into some damn headline." Piers, always relishing the chaos, smiled just slightly. "I think you just made the headline for me." Without a word, Mark stood up, removed his mic, and walked off the set, leaving everyone stunned, including the production team. The cameras kept rolling for a few seconds longer than they should have. Piers, ever the showman, turned to the camera with a smug expression and said, "Well, that escalated quickly." But behind the scenes, chaos exploded. Wahlberg's publicist was already shouting on the phone. Producers scrambled to cut the live feed. And within minutes, social media lit up with clips, commentary, and debates. By the time Mark had left the building, #Wahlberg vs Piers was already trending on X. What started as a press stop had become a public firestorm, and the worst was still to come. The aftermath of the explosive interview was nothing short of media mayhem. Within an hour, clips of Mark Wahlberg storming off Piers Morgan Uncensored had taken over every major platform: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X. News outlets rushed to publish side-by-side opinion pieces, some praising Mark for standing his ground, others applauding Piers for doing what real journalists do. The internet was divided, but one thing was clear: this wasn't going away anytime soon. Piers Morgan, known for never missing a chance to control a narrative, addressed the clash the very next night on his show. With a perfectly smug expression, he stared into the camera and opened with, "Mark Wahlberg, Hollywood tough guy, couldn't handle a few tough questions. Interesting, isn't it?" He then played the full, unedited clip, multiple times. Each time, he paused for commentary, dissecting Wahlberg's reactions frame by frame like a football analyst reviewing game tape. "Watch this," he said at one point, rewinding the exact moment Mark pulled off his mic. "That's not the move of someone confident in their convictions. That's the move of someone running from a truth they don't want aired." The segment sparked even more outrage, especially from Wahlberg's fans, fellow actors, and community leaders who had worked alongside him over the years. 2 days later, Wahlberg broke his silence, not with a press conference or a TV interview, but with a video on Instagram stories. Standing in his home gym, drenched in sweat, he looked directly into the lens. "I'm not interested in playing games," he said, breathing heavily between sets. I've owned my past more than most people in this business. I've spent 30 years making things right, not for headlines, but because it's the right thing to do. You can poke at it, twist it, spin it, but I'm still going to wake up tomorrow and put the work in. The video went viral instantly. Celebrities chimed in with support. Jamie Foxx reposted it with the caption, "Respect to the man who walks the walk." Dwayne Johnson commented, "No BS with Mark. Always real, always working." Even actors who rarely got political, like Sandra Bullock and Matt Damon, subtly liked posts defending Wahlberg's integrity. But Piers wasn't backing off. On Good Morning Britain, he doubled down, claiming, if public figures want to be seen as role models, they need to answer the hard questions. You don't get to profit from a redemption arc without being accountable for all of it. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, both teams were scrambling. Wahlberg's PR reps began fielding dozens of offers from networks offering fair, respectful platforms for a tell-all interview. Oprah's team called. So did Anderson Cooper. CNN proposed an hour-long primetime redemption special. Netflix, where Wahlberg was producing a semi-autobiographical limited series, issued a rare statement of support. Mark's story is one of transformation and purpose. We stand behind him and the work he's done. At the same time, whispers circulated that other celebrities were quietly backing out of scheduled appearances on Piers Morgan Uncensored. One anonymous source from the show's crew claimed, A-listers don't want to be ambushed anymore. The vibe's shifting. Piers pushed it too far. The incident also reignited old debates across talk shows and podcasts. Was redemption in Hollywood authentic, or just branding? Do celebrities get unfair passes? And more importantly, when does journalism cross the line into provocation? Back in Boston, Wahlberg seemed unfazed. He was spotted attending a local youth mentoring event, laughing with kids, handing out scholarships through his foundation. When a reporter shouted, "Any regrets about the Piers interview?" Wahlberg just smiled and said, "I regret wasting time on someone who doesn't really want answers, just reactions." Still, his team wasn't done yet. Word soon spread that Wahlberg would appear in an upcoming sit-down special, One Night Only with Gayle King, to tell his story without interruptions, accusations, or manipulation. Tickets sold out instantly. As for Piers, he continued doing what he always does, fueling the flames. But with A-listers growing wary, producers starting to push back, and audiences increasingly questioning his methods, it was clear, this time, the backlash might actually stick. What began as a 10-minute interview had spiraled into a cultural firestorm, one that neither man could fully control, and one that neither audience would forget.